10 Ways to Have a Better Conversation by Celeste
All right, I want
Headley.
to see a show of hands. How many of you have
Headley.
unfriended someone on Facebook because they said something offensive about politics or religion, childcare, food?
Yes. Okay. Wow. Okay. She went there from the get go. I'm impressed. Okay, because yes, that happens, and everybody, of course, in the crowd, look, they all cheer and say, "Haha, yeah, that happened to me." Well, look, exactly. The, it's sad when it happens, but people accept that that's the way of living now. Just having to deal with a bunch of overreactive people that can't, they don't even know why they feel that way. They just know that they're against it. That's it. Because when you actually ask them to explain their position, they cannot. They cannot. They cannot. They only know that they're supposed to feel that way. Yes.
And how many of you know at least one person that you avoid because you just don't want to talk to them? You know, it used to be that in order to have a polite conversation, we just had to follow the advice of Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady, stick to the weather and your health. But these days, with climate
You consider that a good conversation? No. Perhaps there was a time where it was just better to be superficial, right? No, it was never better to be superficial. Perhaps it was a soft way to introduce a division, a wedge, like a wedge in your hair right now, just to split people, in right in half. You're almost right in half, but it's a little off center. But that's you went for that. I get it.
change and anti-vaxxing, those subjects are
See how people laugh when she says anti-vaccine? Haha, hilarious. Yeah, and look, she's giving a shout out, looking directly into the camera with one eye, and giving a shout out to the people with another one. Yes, staring into the abyss, looking for more guidance.
not safe either. So this world that we live in, this world in which every conversation has the potential to devolve into an argument, where our politicians can't speak to one another, and where even the most trivial of issues have someone fighting both passionately for it and against it, it's not normal. Pew Research did a study of 10,000 American adults, and they found that at this moment we are more polarized, we are more divided than we ever have been in history.
Yes, you're pointing out the obvious. Okay, any person okay, to be very specific, any average person that would watch the what average indoctrination, yes, that's they know it. Okay, they know it, and nothing happens, right? Because they don't care, they don't give a damn, right? And people like her, and I don't pick on this particular person. Obviously the video is her speaking, but it's what she represents. Okay, this is not a personal, but yes, every person that thinks this way ultimately, yes, is scrambled and smashed, and it's just totally upside down. Okay.
We're less likely to compromise, which means we're not listening to each other, and we make decisions about where to live, who to marry, and even who our friends are going to be based on what we already believe. Again, that means we're not listening to each other. A conversation
Or we actually listen to ourselves perfectly, and that's why we have these distinctions. Discernment. Okay, Celeste, it's called discernment. Okay, you can have discernment. Okay, and it's not a bad thing. You've been led to believe that it's a bad thing, but no, it's what allows you to discern and be able to stand the tides, the test of times, the endurance, right? Through the filth, standing in you, the pillar with the sword of truth. Yes, of course. And you have as your creator and your guide, the Lord, the one true God, living God, of course. Yes, and the way is his son, the only son, right? But no, you are just so far up into the abyss. You went down it actually. But no, there's no up or down, right? Where you believe, yes.
requires a balance between talking and listening, and somewhere along the way we lost that balance. Now, part of that is due to technology, the smartphones that you all either have in your hands or close enough that you could grab them really quickly. According to Pew Research, about a third of American teenagers send more than 100 texts a day, and many of them almost
Right, and you probably send like 3,000. Okay, so what are you saying? Right? No, you won't even talk about that. I'm sure you won't say, "Wow, we've really lost it, guys. Like, what's going on?" Just abandon ship because we're so immoral. We don't even know what to talk about. Yes, that's what it's come down to. Because wow, there's no bearing to anything anymore. That listen, it's so hard. Oh, poor you. You don't have anything to talk about, or you don't want to talk about things that will actually be hard, difficult for other people to even listen nowadays because oh no, it strikes their emotional attachment to trauma based um, reality, right? The reality. It's all trauma, it's abuse, and mostly self inflicted abuse, right? Of course, all of it.
Most of them are more likely to text their friends than they are to talk to them face to face. There's this great piece in The Atlantic. It was
Yes, because that's how the tools of the we've been taught and indoctrinated and basically subdued to take that path. Okay, and all of a sudden, wow, we have a crisis on our hands. No, you think that crisis came about by by chance? No, um, somebody like you did experiments on people and children, and ultimately, yes, this is the plan is working perfectly. Yes, in accordance to the problem solution fiasco. Okay, not even to mention that, but it's the mechanism, the influence of death. Okay, because death only has the fear of itself to have power over you. Yes, and it will subdue you to have the carnal pleasures in the time of your unrewarding life because you're nothing, right? Because that's what you believe, that you're nothing, but somehow you're better than anyone, and you have the pure blood, and you get fit, and you can be superwoman, but still it's not enough. You still need to put people under your boot. Yes.
was written by a high school teacher named Paul Barnwell. And he gave his kids a communication project. He wanted to teach them how to speak on a specific subject without using notes. And he said this: I came to realize that conversational competence might be the single most overlooked skill we fail to teach. Kids spend hours each day engaging with ideas and each other through screens, but rarely do they have an opportunity to hone their interpersonal communication skills. It might sound like a funny question, but we have
Wow. Yeah, so they can express themselves virtually but not actual in the living. Exactly, they wouldn't be able to tell you what it is to be a child. If you sit a child today and say, hey child, what is it like to be a child today, they have no clue what you're talking about. They probably no, they have no idea. They have no idea. Okay, and the lamp tells you, look, it commands more presence than you do. Look, what is going on here, right? Creative Coast, Celeste Headley. Okay, believe in the X, yes, because it's awesome. Yes.
to ask ourselves, is there any 21st century skill more important than being able to sustain coherent, confident conversation? Now, I make my living talking to people. Nobel Prize winners, truck drivers, billionaires, kindergarten teachers, heads of state, plumbers. I talk to people that I like. I talk to people that I don't like. I talk to some people that I disagree with deeply on a personal level, but I still have a great conversation with them. So I'd like to spend the next 10 minutes or so.
Right. So what's the context of your conversations? Because ultimately, any conversation only takes place because there's some sort of expectation, and no 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 conversation ends without resolve. Otherwise, you get nagging. Okay, and you should know that of course why. What are the expectations, right? It's not that you just disagree with them, but you have amazing conversations. No, what was the overall resolve of that conversation? Oh, was it that just to affirm that oh, just to condemn their their way of thinking, and elevate yours, just to conflate that, or to no to inflate it more. Sorry, come on, what is this? What is it? What are you saying?
Teaching you how to talk and how to listen. Many of you have already heard a lot of advice on this. Things like look the person in the eye, think of interesting
Right, look, yeah, maybe, Yeah, I don't. I'm just gonna throw these out there, just like slam it again. I'm just gonna throw it against the wall and see if it, spells something, and then I'll just read it. That's why I can't. That's why I'm squinting because it's so far and it's made out of cottage cheese that I just smashed against the wall. That it's hard to read. So maybe, but guys, don't take my word for it. Look, that's what she's saying. Believe me, but no, it's true. You look somebody at their eyes, and these eyes right now, look, they're screaming. Okay, these are eyes of screaming. There's no turning back, and it's actually maybe suffocating. I don't know.
Things, topics to discuss in advance. Look, nod and smile to show that you're paying attention. Repeat back what you just heard or summarize it. So I want you to forget.
No, that just means that you weren't listening and you picked up key points, and then you're just gonna because you're just stashing up things to reply to them and smash them. No, exactly. You have no idea what you're talking about because ultimately that's no way to communicate. No, communication is only to guide. Okay, otherwise there's no need for it. Okay, and ultimately, I mean, obviously to express, to chant the joy. That's it, and that's all. And joy is not compliments. Joy is not grandioseness of the ego or the self or the enlightened self or the enlightened being or the light or the love. No, it's not. The true humbling essence is the Holy Spirit. Look at you. Can't even look. You can't even look. What are you signaling? Okay, what are you doing? Are you pointing towards your?
All of that. It
I
is
don't know.
crap.
It's crap. Look, she just told you.
There is no reason to learn how to show you're paying attention if you are, in fact, paying attention.
Right. Okay.
Now,
She did. She's look at her. Of course, she thinks she's very clever. Yes, but actually, all these people believe. That's why they laugh because they were caught, and they caught you trying to explain something that they actually believed in. And yes, now you're saying, well, maybe it's not so cut and dry.
actually use the exact same skills as a professional interviewer that I do in regular life. So, I'm going to teach you how to interview people, and that's actually going to help you learn.
Wow. Okay, she said it. So she said that yeah, the old way is archaic. Basically, they're smashing the old paradigm. Yes, because the old paradigm served to get them this far. But only now that they have you basically by the neutered brain, you this is the next step. Okay, the next step. And she's giving you the tools, guys. So you better write these down because they're going to go by quick.
How to be better conversationalists. Learn to have a conversation without wasting your time, without getting bored, and please God, without offending anybody. We've all had really great conversations. We've had them.
No, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Either you completely eviscerate the lie, or you're part of it. Exactly.
Before we know what it's like. The kind of conversation where you walk away feeling engaged and inspired, or where you feel like you've made a real connection, or you've been perfectly understood. There is no reason why most of your interactions can't be like that. So I have 10 basic rules. I'm going to walk you through all of them, but honestly, if you just choose one of them,
I bet you this is going to be how to, interview people to be the yes men and, the yes people. Basically, the circle jerk around me. Okay, this is what it's going to be.
Master it, you're already going to enjoy better conversations. Number one, don't multitask. And I don't mean just set down your cell phone or your tablet or your car keys or whatever's in your hand. I mean, be present. Be in that moment. Don't be thinking about your argument you have with your boss. Don't be thinking about what you're going to have for dinner. If you want to get out of the conversation, get out of the conversation. But don't be half in it and half out of it. Number two, don't pontificate.
Right. Don't be lukewarm, is what you're saying. But this approach is lukewarm. So, yes, it totally smashes itself in the face. Yes, it does.
If you wanted to state your opinion without any opportunity for response or argument or pushback or growth, write a blog.
Exactly. She's saying nobody cares, right? Your opinions, just do it. Okay? Yeah. So, Right now, she's being very elusive because she's trying to come across as very, edgy. But we'll, we'll let's get on. Let's get on with
No,
it.
there's a really good reason why I don't allow pundits on my show, because they're really boring. If they're a conservative, they're going to
Oh,
hate
what a
Obama and
bored.
food stamps and abortion. If they're a liberal, they're going to hate big banks and oil corporations and Dick Cheney. Totally predictable.
Right,
And
because you just, oh yeah, you just know it all, right? Of course, she's wearing sandals and like this witch dress. I don't know what she's wearing, but look, it looks like a vest. Okay, she looks like the penguin, and she has, the Batcave. She's infiltrated the Batcave, guys. Okay, and listen, she's gonna take you probably in a wind world of adventure. Now, you're gonna Will Smith her way out of it.
you don't want to be like that. You need to enter every conversation assuming that you have something to learn. The famed therapist Eb Scott Peck said that true listening requires a setting aside of oneself. And sometimes that means setting aside your personal opinion.
So abandoning yourself in a conversation, yeah, that's what you need to do. Mm, no. What about just engaging with wisdom? Hmm? No, it couldn't be possibly be that. No, you just want to have the appearance of caring, yes, or making a joke about, well, if you cared, then you would actually listen, right? Okay, I bet you don't listen to anyone because you actually don't care. It's gonna be your way or the highway, right? Of course.
He said that sensing this acceptance, the speaker will become less and less vulnerable and more likely to open up the inner recesses of his or her mind to the listener. Again, assume that you have something to learn.
Assume
Bill Nye,
exactly.
every
Oh please. Oh my. Again, right? He's so blue. He's so blue, and of course, he that's the color of his eviscerated brain and the color of his balls because yes, they've milked them dry completely, probably against his will. Right? It's almost like a torture. Like he thinks he gave it up all for pleasure, but now it's torture, right? Of course. And they tell you, look, the grind, right? Just smashing over this guy, and it doesn't care. It doesn't care because this guy is eh, he's dust, okay? And
everyone you will ever meet knows something that you don't.
right, and you if you always assume that you're going to meet somebody and that you're going to expunge something from them, then yes, every other person will look to you like this, like part of a grind on a wheel that you can just smash and get over and take something from them. So, very worthless advice.
I put it this way: everybody is an expert in something. Number 3,
No, mostly everyone is a total disaster. Okay? So, no. S- Everyone wants to be master at something, right? But most of them are totally just obliterated, right? So they have no idea. They're totally lost abyss in the abyss. It's like the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody even knows they're missing. Okay, that's how grave it is. And it's look, this guy knows where they are because he sent them there. Okay, he helped pave the way to space. Yes, he paved literally the way to space.
use open-ended questions. In this case, take a cue from journalists. Start your questions with who, what, where, when, why, or how. If you put in a complicated question, you're going to get a simple answer out. If I ask you, were you terrified? You're going to respond to the most powerful word in that sentence, which is terrified, and the answer is, yes, I was, or no, I wasn't. Were you angry? Yes, I was very angry. Let them describe it. They're the ones that know. Try asking them things like, what was that like? How did that feel? Because then they might have to stop for a moment and think about it, and you're going to get a much more interesting response.
Right.
Number 4.
So that's actually telling. And I mean, maybe you're giving out clues, little crumbs, little crumbs to your witch house for people to realize that, yes, say a crisis happens, right? And immediately you're told what it is. You're not allowed to process at all any of the information. No, because first of all, it is already determined for you and perfectly laid out for you. And don't worry, It's under control. Yes. And of course, this person just told you. It's, it's the same dynamic. It's the same dynamic. Okay. So just by asking the question, you might lead somebody into thinking that they care about you, but no, they're trying to extract information. Yes. And this person, look, she knows it.
Go with the flow. That means thoughts will come into your mind, and you need to let them go out of your mind. We've heard interviews often in which
So
a
become a
guest is
toilet.
talking.
This person is saying become a toilet. Yes. Just let the water flow in and flow out. Yes, just let it flow in and flow out, and let the sewage just totally overcome you. Because it's still, you're going with the flow. Yes. No, it's not. It couldn't possibly be that you are here constantly trying, conducting yourself the currency of the everlasting life, and that you are here to be humbled by it and become one with it and overcome the flesh. No, it couldn't be possibly that. Instead, you just want to exacerbate the flesh, pollute it, pleasure it, and probably gain something from it, because like you said, every person has something that you can learn from. So yes, as many people as you can smash and dash, the better you will be, right?
For several minutes, and then the host comes back in and asks a question which seems like it comes out of nowhere, or it's already been answered. That means the host probably stopped listening 2 minutes ago because he thought of this really clever question, and he was just bound and determined to say that. And we do the
Right. So okay, making the point. Exactly. So I'm surprised you made that point, because I thought you weren't going to make it.
exact same thing. We're sitting there having a conversation with someone, and then we remember that time that we met Hugh Jackman in a coffee shop, and we stop listening.
Look, yes, okay, this guy is one of those he's either completely in the matrix. Look, he's just in the abyss. And what is this? I can't tell if it's her hand or his. It's her hand. But she's probably breastfeeding. I don't know. It looks like a breastfeeding shawl. But this guy, he's probably exhausted. If they have a baby under there, this guy's just blasted, and he he doesn't know what hit him. And this person, oh, okay, this person came for this talk just to know how to meet friends, because wow, she's tried Tinder and everything, and it hasn't worked for her. Just devastated. And this guy, look, he's just hoping so much that it goes well for this guy, because oh man, he has so much riding on it. Yes, let's go. But half these, look, this is the look of I don't give a damn. This person does not give a damn. Okay, and same look.
Stories and ideas are going to come to you. You need to let them come and let them go. Number 5, if you don't know, say that you don't know. Now, people on the radio, especially on NPR, are much more aware that they're going on the record. And so they're more careful about what they claim to be an expert in and what they claim to know for sure. Do that. Err on the side of caution. Talk should
Right. Cover your own ass, right?
not be cheap.
Ugh.
Number 6, don't equate your experience with theirs. If they're talking about having lost a family member, don't start talking about the time that you lost a family member. If they're talking about the trouble that they're having at work, don't tell them about how much.
Right. Because it couldn't be possibly helpful to share a testimony of how you were able to overcome a similar situation. No, all because you might make them feel like you don't care. Oh, poor them. Well, they're the ones that are smashed, okay? Because anyone who turns down wisdom is a fool. Yes, not that it's man's wisdom, but the wisdom of the Spirit, okay?
You hate your job. It's not the same. It is never the same. All experiences are individual. And more importantly, it is not about you. You don't need to take that moment to prove how amazing you are or how much you've suffered. Somebody asked Stephen Hawking once what his IQ was, and he says, I have no idea. People who brag about their IQs are losers.
And it couldn't be possibly that he's just spiteful and resentful, and he hates a mechanism that his own science, his religion of scientism, created and established. No, it couldn't be that. And they're losers. Yeah, they're all losers.
Conversations are not a promotional opportunity.
And you know how she just said, don't talk about the same situation that you might have had, blah blah blah. Of course, I'm sure that happens with people that are just mentally just mashed. Okay, they're exactly. They don't see it clearly. How are you today? Read my blog. Wow. Exactly. See, people don't want to talk anymore. They don't give a damn. Because all they care about is if they're going to smash and dash and how long they can secure that for. Because, hey, this guy will just rubberneck and go this way, and oh, this chick will just find some other greener pasture and some better farmland, and this guy will just be left in the dust. Okay, yes. And of course, safe, no children in the picture, right? But of course, there's always children, and children always pay. They're we that's the flesh that is paid, right? The children. We are the children, and of course, our flesh is paying. We are paying. We are paying in the flesh, okay? But of course, you can overcome and renounce the world. Yes, renounce the world. It is not the way. It is not the way. It is the illusion. It is only the illusion. Yes. And of course, this person is just smashed and doesn't know. Look, this person, even though it's a cartoon, it was inspired by a person that is smashed. Okay? Because they're promoting a whole new paradigm. Yes. They're massaging it in. Yes. Massaging it in like they did this guy's perms. Okay? Look, of course, conversation in the 21st century. Wow.
Number 7. Try not to repeat yourself. It's condescending and it's really boring. And we tend to do it a lot.
But the truth is that, okay, let's say that this is a marriage, okay? And let's say that this is the wife, and because it could be this, but let's just say let's just say that the wife, okay, she identifies purely on her blog because wow, she just spills her guts out in it. Wow, okay, and so many people give her thumbs up and hearts and give her a bunch of like basically circle jerk her, right? They stroke her and it's amazing and she loves it and she thinks she's helping people, but the other people on the other side don't give a damn. Okay, they just think maybe because of her picture or whatever they'll send her a post or whatever, maybe they did get inspired and now they're gonna do and smash and dash in their own life but not give a damn about you. And it's only whether you can create a brand of a sustainable, something that can come across as completely harmless, then yes, you will become a friend of the world and you will be loved and rewarded and elevated amongst the world. And so if this wife truly does identify in that way and her husband now has to deal with that, but of course he's totally smashed. He's totally smashed and he might be just bashed and abandoned because obviously the wife doesn't pay attention to him and he has to resolve his anger towards his own mother. And yes, now she's demanding for this man to read her blog because yes, he couldn't possibly understand her if they had a conversation because no, yes, she feels that he would always interrupt. Well, the thing is, he would interrupt because maybe he's going to tell you stop doing what you're doing. What are you doing? He might just ask you, what are you doing? Look at you and look at the abyss and ask you, what are you staring at? He might ask you that question. What are you staring at? And if she says my blog, she's smashed. Okay?
especially in work conversations or in conversations with our kids. We have a point to make, so we just keep rephrasing it over and
Right. That's what a blog is. You keep rephrasing and editing until you believe you have brainwashed yourself that yes, it is perfect. And of course, you're going to demand that your husband see you in that light because no, he couldn't possibly see you the way you actually are. No, it has to be through your blog because that's how you can truly express yourself. Yes. And and then only then will she have the opportunity to maybe allow herself to let your love come in, and maybe she will then love you back. But no, until then, until you accept her falsity, oh, I mean, it's just garbage.
and
Come
over.
on.
Don't do that. Number 8, stay out of the weeds. Frankly, people don't care about the years, the names, the dates, all those details that you're struggling to come up with in your mind. They don't care. What they care about is you. They care about what you're like, what you have in common. So forget the details. Leave them out. Number
Okay, exactly. You could have just said that in your video, okay, at the beginning, because now you're 9 minutes in and I've said a lot, okay? And I appreciate it because, yes, you have allowed me to express this, and I'm grateful because, yes, I. It is meaningful. There's meaning because it doesn't matter. Those people that saw you live, okay, they're smashed and you smashed them. But that's amazing. So then this will be floating around somewhere, where somebody can probably listen and is listening and just looking at the waves in your hair and amazed by the light. Okay, just amazed and just want to become one with the light. Okay, and they're gonna listen to every bit. But listen, you could have just said what you just said and ended your video because yeah, people are simple in the sense that only one purpose, right? And that is to live. And what does that mean? That means to love it fully with everything in your heart, meaning you are not your will. Exactly. Okay, there is, yes, the will that for practical things. I mean, that's just engaging with life. The end. There's no word. I mean, again, you might be able to steer somebody's responses by what you say to them in a conversation, but ultimately, don't you want to get to the the most integral part of it? you know d- do you want to be with me? Do What is it that are doing together? How am I helping you? Okay, am I helping you to find further peace, or are you further in revelry? Okay, are you in complete distraught? Are you just savagely bashed? Are you just infiltrated, right? And there's been there's a scouring of the brain, and the scouring, just trawling. Your brain has been trawled. It has been ultimately just annihilated, and always telling you that it's because you went with your heart. No, you let the heart of stone rule, and you became cold as ice. Yes.
Number 9, this is not the last one, but it is the most important one. Listen. I cannot tell you how many really important people have said that listening is perhaps the number one most important skill that you could develop. Buddha said, and I'm paraphrasing, if your mouth is open, you're not learning.
Yes, exactly. You don't need to learn by speaking. No, you have closure. You have closure in your union, right? The closure is the flesh, okay, and it's resolved. Okay, your flesh will resolve, and it is dust. And so, what is it that you, as the living the living body of it? Okay, what is the living body doing then? Okay, and it's doing everything, of course, and you're just too arrogant to recognize it. And of course, you'll lead people to the slaughter and beg to be dated along the way, and just go along with other people that will agree with you, right? Because you will probably say that's a great conversation, right? Oh, wait, no. You said that you had great conversations with people that you disagreed with, but no, let's admit it. be honest, you actually don't consider them great conversations. You just think of them great because you're able to hold your ground and you were able to perhaps express yourself to the fullest and keep on with that same mentality. I'm not saying, that's wrong, but I'm saying that's what you're proud of. No, not the fact that the conversation was great, because according to you, there's something to gain from somebody. So if you didn't gain anything from them, why do you call it great? Because that was your definition. So if you just came out the same way without, having to actually challenge anything or anything, then it's just nothing. Okay. So what are you saying?
And Calvin Coolidge said, "No man ever listened his way out of a job." Why do we not listen to each other? Number one, we'd rather talk.
Yes, nobody would listen to themselves or what. You can just actually walk out the door. That's the ghost. It's you ghost. Okay? And it's not a novel concept, right? There's nothing to look. Of course she knows. This is the eyes of caught. You've been caught. You've been caught taking too many cookies or too many gummies or caught in a lie, basically. Caught in a lie. Caught in a lie. And of course, now your lips are going to tremble probably.
When I'm talking, I'm in control. I don't have to hear anything I'm not interested in. I'm the center of attention. I can bolster my own identity. But there's another reason. We get distracted. The average person talks at about 225 words per minute, but we can listen at up to 500 words per minute. So our minds are filling in those other 275 words. And look, I know it takes effort and energy to actually pay attention to someone.
No, it doesn't, because it does because you're immoral and people are pushed and bashed into an immoral state. And so, yes, it takes effort because in an immoral state, you actually don't give a damn. And of course, in an immoral state, the only thing that matters is yourself. So you're kind of, this person probably was put out there to present a very truthful reality, which is there's difficulty in people relating these days, and they won't come out and say why, but this person's going to give you the tools to try and overcome it. But no, it's too late. You can't put out the fire. It's already been it's ablazed. Okay, it's ablazed, and no coach will get you to have a good conversation if that wasn't something that you even know how to do at this point in your life, right? Because if you're studying that, that means you don't do that yourself at this point, because if you did, you would think that research is nonsense, right? But no, you believe it because you can't, right? You can't have a conversation with anybody, and it's true, you can't. So somehow you have to provide a solution for people that are just devastated from the online world, from the shallowness of the actual world. And ultimately, when you do have people come into your life, it's just playing with fire, because it's smash people and smashing each other back and forth, and you really don't know. Okay, and there are really rabbit holes and wormholes, and really you might call it catching a disease, but no, they're wormholes, and you get devastated. All right, or all these things where all based on emotion, and truly they're traps. Okay, they're traps based on the type of conversations you have. And if you think that you can have better conversations by listening, yes, fine. But be careful what you listen to, right? And of course, what you end up applying and bashing, you know, molding into your brain capacity. I don't even believe in that. But look at the brain capacity. Her skull is so big. She probably has amazing intelligence. Okay, because of course the species before man had a massive skull, and apparently they might have been just idiots, because apparently we have a bigger skull, a smaller skull, but yet are smarter. Amazing. And it could somehow that just means ancient aliens all of a sudden. No. And of course, the bashing of the skulls, the fragments of the bashes of the skulls that we have, that are the evidence for reasons for having talks like this. Yes. Okay.
But if you can't do that, you're not in a conversation. You're just two people shouting out barely related sentences in the same place. You have to.
Misfiring. Okay. Yes. Look, and she knows it. because that's what it is. People are shooting blanks. They're in the dark. They're in the blind. They're going in blind with no protection. Just and if self-inflicted wounds, ricochet wounds, it's all kinds of slosh fest. Okay, it's a total massacre, and it's true. And you might be able to
You have to listen.
deflect, but no, these tools are not the answer. They're not. Because the only answer is the truth, right? The way and the life. And this person has walked away from it, right? Another penguin suit bites the dust, right? Yes, absolutely. I don't know what she's wearing, but at this point, this angle, it looks like the penguin. And it's penguin in surrounded by fire, apparently. I don't know. What is this? The
Listen to
circle of
one another.
fire and
Stephen
the
Covey said
lamp.
it very beautifully. He said, most of us don't listen with the intent to understand. We listen with the intent to reply. One more rule, and number 10, and it's this one: be brief.
A good conversation is like a mini skirt, short enough to retain interest, but long enough to cover the subject. Yeah, of course, right? She's edgy, super edgy, and bubbly, and amazing, right? Of course, Celeste, once again, just heading the way. Um, wow, amazing. Keep it
All of
sexual,
this boils
everyone.
down
Yes,
to the
remember, keep
same
it sexual.
basic concept, and it is this one: be interested in other people. I grew up with a very famous grandfather.
Be interested in other people. Yes, because you're worthless. And not because you're worthless, but no, you need to stand on the shoulders of giants, right? No. Forget it couldn't possibly be that you're here to be guided by the living God, not some dead giant that sadly you would want to excavate and actually literally stand on his shoulders. Yes, because that's the brainwashed lie that I'm not going to say that this person does believe, but my bet is that she does. And so I would bet this lamp, okay? Because in this video, I can say that, all right? In this, I would bet that lamp, right? That she believes that. But I don't know. It's Russian roulette at this point.
Father, and there was kind of a ritual in my home. People would come over to talk to my grandparents, and after they would leave, my mother would come over to us and she'd say, "Do you know who that was? She was the runner-up to Miss America. He was the mayor of Sacramento. She won a Pulitzer Prize. He's a Russian ballet dancer."
Right. Hypergamy and status and class, just all this stuff, of course, because yes, that's the program. And at one point perhaps there was prestige and honor to be identified or seen that way, but of course the way you think about shapes your life, and it's not what we think anymore. No. And it's not that we think of them and makes them obsolete. No, it's that we've overcome. We see the folly, right? You know we recognize, okay? And it's not to have resent or hate. No, it's not. Because it's being angry about it and just lashing out and calling for justice. No, that's the ways of man. And we're here to overcome that because we have the God nature, okay? We are made in the image of God, meaning we have God's nature within us and we defile it every day. But okay, you can actually come to humble yourself and admit you're wrong. Yes, you're wrong. And choose to walk towards, the total return to the Father through the ways of Jesus Christ. Oh, that's right. And that's right. And she's surprised. She's shocked. She cannot. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what that means because in all the ways that they told her about conversations, wow, no one ever told her that. Wow, you know what? The only thing that could possibly be worth talking about is how smashed everyone is and how smashed you are, and possibly the person that's sitting across from you having the conversation and say, "Listen, how do we overcome?" Because that would be the most truth, and it would cut you, it would split you in half because you wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you would have a super shield and just deflect it with your wordsmithing. Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe you would have the best conversation with it and try to outlast. But no, the truth is undefeated, and the truth would just slice. It would just be. It would just execute what it is and not give a damn because it is what it is. Yes.
And I kind of grew up assuming everyone has some hidden amazing thing about them. And honestly, I think it's what makes me a better host. I keep my mouth shut as often as I possibly can. I keep my mind open, and
Right, you keep your mouth shut because then the other person is under the spotlight, and it provides for an entertainment show. Yes, because then they'll start saying and go into things without you having have to ask. Yes, exactly. Because trauma because of trauma, and there's people can't accept silence because it's trauma. And no, this person they know the tricks. Okay, exactly.
always prepared to be amazed, and I'm never disappointed. You do the same thing. Go out, talk to people, listen to people, and most importantly, be prepared to be amazed. Thanks.
Be prepared to be amazed, but no, be prepared to be totally devastated and demolished and smashed because that's the truth that she won't tell you. Because in all the times that you will go and try and find this, no, it, the conversation will be led elsewhere, or you will succumb to other distractions or lusts or attractions or this or the other, and it's just a big smash and bashed, and your brain can't handle it. Your brain is already on haywire. Your brain is already at max, at total, denial level 13, whatever, 11, choose any number, it doesn't matter. It's just off the hook. It is off the hook, and it's off the hook for a reason. And now it's just damage control, but no, you cannot damage control this. It's done. It's already derailed. It's derailed, and you are helping the derailment by allowing people to just see the total derailment. Okay? Yes, the total derailment of a total um spirit. I mean, the attempt of the total uh, defilement of the spirit, right? It all right on the open. Yes, every day. And that is the battle, the spiritual battle, because who cares about this person, right? I mean, it's not that I don't care or you wish ill upon this, but no, this person I love as the expression of life, but this person may not recognize that, and in that they have no love. So it doesn't matter how much I love them. It wouldn't even matter. Just as much as she might not know I exist, and that might not even can go into her consideration of the people that love her, right? Despite not knowing her, but of course it's all blasted into her head by ego, and she just thinks that she's here to overcome the ego. And come on, she's promoting to just listen and be prepared to be amazed, right? Be prepared to be amazed by what? By somebody that is just gonna wordsmith you more, right? No, exactly. Because if you're amazed by that, then you're gonna just smash. You're gonna smash so hard and smash the hardest, okay? And it's gonna leave you just like a pulp, right? All just all just squished of your fluids, of your essence, of your vigor, and of the sacred, of all the sacredness, right? Oh, the fluid of water, right? Come on. You just want to just get that in, press it, and stomp it, and send it up to space, right? And just blow it out of the water and just it's incinerated into space. Whatever. What are you talking about? But anyway, I digress. I'm gonna end it there. Yes.